Okay, number 28. The inexpensive preparation of nitrogen-containing fertilizers begins with mixing together two elements, hydrogen and nitrogen, at high temperature and pressure, in the presence of a metal. Does the molecular art depicted below indicate that a chemical or physical change occurs under these conditions? And explain your choice. Okay, the first part up here is just a little bit of background. The actual question comes right here. Does the art below indicate that the change is chemical or physical? And explain your choice. Now, we discussed chemical and physical changes in the last problem and also in lectures 2 and 3. So for number 28, just a little bit of background. Physical change, this is discussed in lecture 2. Remember, physical changes is when a substance changes without altering its identity. A substance undergoes some sort of change without altering its identity. And it's easily reversed. Easily reversed. And I'm going to add a little bit more to this right here. It's you have the same type of particle before and after the change. Okay, so if you watch the change happening and you're able to see the tiny particles, of the substance, you will see the same particles before and after the change. You're not generating any new types of particles, is what I'm trying to say. So the same particles before and after, before and after the change. Okay, let's compare this with a chemical change. We discussed chemical changes in the last problem, and you'll also read about these more in lecture 3. A chemical change occurs when a substance changes, and it alters its identity, and along with altering its identity, with altering its identity, and it's not easily reversed. But a little bit more information here. You have different particles before and after the change. Different particles before and after the change. It's this last thing that's going to be key here. So I'm going to put a little star here and star there. So looking at the picture, which is describing this preparation of fertilizer, here's a picture of the material before and after the change. And here you see the particles are different before and after the change. On the left-hand side, before the change, you have these blue particles, and then these white ones. The blue ones are the nitrogens. More specifically, that's N2, because there are 2 nitrogen atoms per particle, and the white ones are hydrogens, and those are H2. Because there are 2 hydrogen atoms per particle. So looking on the right, after the change, all of the particles look the same. And, each particle contains nitrogen and hydrogen atoms. And if you count up the atoms, you'll see that each one has 1 nitrogen atom and 3 hydrogen atoms. And so I would call this NH3. And that's the fertilizer. So just by looking at the particles, you can see that you have different particles before versus after. So I'm going to call this a chemical change. Chemical change. Okay, so that's number 28. If you look at number 27, it's a very similar problem, okay? Here it's describing some background information, and then it asks you, is this a chemical or a physical change?